Minkah Fitzpatrick, whew, bad. It wasn't even a bad year last year. By his standards, you would say it's a bad year, but he missed 7 games out with injury. The question is, how can we get Minkah back to playing like Minkah? Well, first off, health. That would be number one. He missed 7 games, like I just mentioned, hamstring injury and a knee injury. A knee injury at the end of the year. He came back for the playoff game after missing the previous 3 games, but he was compromised. You could tell. He wasn't the same guy. And it is what it is. You can't help injuries. Now, you don't want guys to be injured, but at the same time, it just is what it is. One thing about Minkah, he played out of position a lot last year. So much that it was incredibly noticeable, not only just us common fan, but also to coaching staff and people around the league. Why is Minkah down in the box? Why is he so close to the line of scrimmage? That is not what Minkah Fitzpatrick thrives in. It's not that he can't do it, but that's not his best position on the football field. He is a free safety, roam. He's an outstanding tackler, but you got him down in the box. Well, he's not as good a tackler when he's trying to fend off offensive linemen running at him. He's a sure tackler, number one, but things can be more difficult when you're having to fend off blockers. That's not his thing. Well, the one thing about Minkah, he had to do that last year. Number one, because the Steelers were decimated by injuries at the linebacker position, and because of the limitations of others when they did fill in at the linebacker position. He had to be responsible for more and do things that were out of his comfort zone that makes Minkah Minkah. That's not a good thing for the Pittsburgh Steelers. It's just not. You need Minkah to be the guy that we know, the free roamer, roaming around the field, making plays, being a ball hawk, coming down in the box every now and then. But he lived in the box last year. DeShun Elliott is going to help with that a ton. Now, look, the first thing about DeShun Elliott, he's a strong safety. And I know people are going to say, well, he's been on 3 different teams the last 3 years. I get that. But you look at it, he was productive. It wasn't that, oh, man, he's on this team. He was on Miami last year. Oh, no, he didn't play well. No, he was fine. Oh, man, just moving around all over the league. Look, safety was one of those positions that people talked about last year that was being devalued and was undervalued. So a strong safety, yeah, they might have to move around a couple of times. It's just the way that it works. But DeShun Elliott, let's not kid ourselves. He's a good football player, and he's a good tackler, and he would be the safety that can play down in the box, in a nickel situation, a dime situation, or God forbid we have hit the injury bug at linebacker like we did last year. This would be the guy that we could put down there. And we don't have to have Minkah down there playing as close to the line of scrimmage because, again, injuries and the limitations of others. So DeShun Elliott is going to help Minkah tremendously in getting him back. Not to mention Mike Tomlin, Terrell Austin, both of them have said, we're getting Minkah back to doing what Minkah does well. His role will be different this year than what you've seen it. And I think that's a good thing for the Pittsburgh Steelers to get Minkah Fitzpatrick back. Look at these top 4 safeties, according to Pro Football Focus. You got Antoine Winfield Jr., Kyle Hamilton, Jesse Bates, and then Minkah at 4th. First of all, it came out and it's based off of last year. So, yeah, that's probably right based off of last year. The reason that I disagree, because I know what Minkah is. If he is able to do and play where he's supposed to be and not have to do things because of injuries and limitations and have to play out of position, he's a top 2 safety in this league. And I think most Pittsburgh Steelers fans would agree. I think most knowledgeable football fans would agree. If you just let Minkah, or if he's allowed to be where he needs to be, where he thrives the best, Minkah Fitzpatrick is a top 2 safety in this league. And I think this is going to be the season, again, health willing, that he's going to show how good he is. We got to get Minkah back to where he is. You got to get him back there. So I love the fact that, number one, Terrell Austin and Mike Tomlin have both come out and said that Minkah Fitzpatrick is going to have a different role, a better role for him, and also a better role for this defense. Because I've said it once and I'll say it again. If everything, again, right as it sits right now, I think the Pittsburgh Steelers have a top 3 defense in the National Football League. I really believe that. That's not just fandom talking. You just you break it down by position. I think the Steelers have a top 3 defense and maybe higher. Maybe higher. We'll see what happens, obviously, when the pads get on and when the lights start shining. But I think the Steelers defense can be incredible this year. Minkah Fitzpatrick is going to be a big, big part of that.